What's up, everybody? Happy Monday to you. We have the lovely Kelly in Vegas, Stewart. And let me see if I can get this right this time. We have the fantastic, the awesome, the
Wow.
multi talented Christopher Castellani.
Yeah, you got it. All right. Yeah, you got it.
Woo! Already got a win for
And
the
I thought I was bad at pronouncing people's names. Megan might take the cake. We should just do an entire show on bad pronunciations.
yeah, no, I would probably take the cake there. I am so bad at screwing up literally the most simple things in life. So if you ever need anything, seem extremely simple, screwed up, just ask your girl. Kelly, how has the last week been for you? I know I just got back from literally the longest trip felt like ever. I hadn't seen my kids for like 5 days. I don't plan on doing that ever again. Yesterday was like finally we got to embrace. I was so excited to see them. But I haven't seen you and I haven't seen you. So Kelly, tell me how your week's been and then kick it to Chris. And Chris, you kind of tell me how you're feeling today too.
Well, Megan, this last week's been pretty good. NBA's been rocking and rolling. Last night, Pell's money line comes in clutch for me. I will take that all day. I'm going to try to get you guys a couple more NBA winners at the end of the show. I know this is Megan's baseball show, talk baseball, but then I got to give a little bit of analysis on tonight's games. We're going to see. I'm a little flustered, though, Megan. Our producer, Jack, ruffled my feathers a little bit, started talking about eyeballs. So if I say something wrong, it's because I still am a little nauseous. I was sweating in my office. Apparently, there's got to be like a phobia name, like when you have like an eyeball phobia, because I didn't realize I had one until he told that story.
I don't know. Maybe Chris knows. Chris, how are we feeling? And do you know the term for phobia, fear of eyes?
I don't. I'll do a few Google searches and make myself look a lot smarter than I probably am. But in terms of how I'm feeling, look, I'm hanging in there. I got a few comments last week that said I was looking down at the ground way too often. So speaking of eyeballs, if I make way too much eye contact during this episode, you'll know why. But no, I'm
Chris
doing all right.
is going to stare at you guys the rest of the show now. It's like, oh.
I know. I'm gonna have to put a veil over my eyes to avoid it. But no, I'm hanging in there. Hard to complain. Happy to be back here doing this. It's fun.
Well, we are certainly happy to have you, and especially, this is a tough card today. We got just 7 games, so obviously, I got my pick central. I got to get in 3 picks. I'm scraping by the skin of my teeth today. I found 2 that I liked, and then I put together, obviously, a Making Money Mondays parlay. So, Chris, if there's any games that I don't mention, please feel free to interject if there's something that you really like or any props, anything like that we should be looking at. But first, let's start off with the Giants Brewers. You have Long and Burns on the mound. I'm going to go ahead and say that I took the Giants plus the 1.5. Burns has been fantastic on the mound. However, I do think that this San Francisco bullpen, which it will be a bullpen game, Long is going to open, and I expect to get 2 or 3, at least I hope, to get 2 or 3 shutout innings from Long. I want the Giants bullpen to come in, take over, kind of feel like the Rays a little bit. Hopefully that they have enough in their bullpen to mix up this Brewers team. Rockies are next. But I like San Francisco plus the 1.5. I can still lose the game with a run. It's really, I'm scared to fade, not necessarily fade Burns, but man, he's been on fire. But I think I like San Francisco here. Chris, what do we think? And then Kelly, I want to hear your thoughts too.
This is the one game of this slate that I'm actually avoiding because, like you said, any game with an opener, I'm always a little bit split on. It kind of scares me. Corbin Burns is nasty. NL Cy Young winner last year, one of maybe the best, hardest cutter in baseball of any starting pitcher. But what has me a little bit concerned, and the reason why I'm staying away from it, is the Giants lineup, or at least as a team, 10 for 35 against them. And Jock Peterson and Brandon Belt have killed him righty on lefty matchups there. But the issue with Burns' data there is the fact that he was really bad until like 2 years ago. So I don't know how many of these ABs were before he really kind of popped off as a pitcher in the COVID years. So this is the one that I'm avoiding. I know how good Burns is. Obviously, the pedigree speaks for itself, but the Giants are even going back to last year, are the most difficult team to gauge because I constantly look at them and I'm like, all right, they're good. I don't know if they're great. And yet every time I turn around, I'm seeing a W by their name. So I'm avoiding this one. A big reason for that too is Sam Long. There's just not much data there regarding matchups that he's had. He's 6 starts into his career, first start against the Brewers. So because of what you said with the Giants bullpen and the way that Kapler's managed it, I totally understand that decision, but this is the one I'm a little bit on the fence about.
All right, and I completely respect that. I had such a hard time trying to find games that I truly like today.
Yeah.
It's tough when you're working with 7 games. But Kelly, I mean, you've been working with that NBA slate of what, like 3 every other day. So,
and that's why sometimes you have to take a pass. The other day I said, hey, I just don't love anything. And I said, look, I'd love to take the Pels, and the game landed 3, and I'm glad that I stayed away. Sometimes it's okay to do that, you guys. I know, we're supposed to be action junkies here, but it's okay to take a pass. And this is one I would personally pass on, Megan. As I've mentioned, as far as my baseball handicapping goes, it's pretty minimal. I obviously still watch baseball games as a sports fan, and I do try to keep up with some of these. So just know you don't want to take my opinion here for the gospel. Listen to the other 2. But from the surface level, Megan, I'm with Chris. This San Francisco team I used to follow years ago. Being down in Las Vegas, there was a couple of teams that were in close proximity to go to the games. I really kind of hopped on this Giants bandwagon, and it was a fun team there for 5 or 6 years. They won 2 World Series, I think 2 out of 3 years, something like that.
3 out of 5.
3 out of 5, yeah. It was super fun, and to be able to go to some of those games was really awesome. But since then, they've kind of fallen off. I mean, ever since they traded away my favorite guy, Panda, I kind of stopped caring so much about this team. But like Chris said, I keep expecting not to see San Francisco cash in tickets, and there they are. Speaking of cash in tickets, that's all Milwaukee's been doing for their backers. And I think that's kind of my problem here is you have not an unknown pitcher in Sam Long, but compared to a Corbin Burnes, you do, and you're paying an absolute utter premium. I mean, I'm seeing minus 190 right now at the Barstool Sportsbook, and I'm going, eek, that seems so aggressive. I used to love to take the plus 1.5, Megan, and didn't mind laying, 115, 120 to get it. But since the new extra innings rules, where they start with a guy on second base, let me tell you how infuriating that has been for a plus 1.5.
I had the White Sox yesterday and the Astros. Thankfully, the Astros ended up in my favor. However, the White Sox yesterday with that runner on second, I just had the money line, and utter brutality is what that felt like.
It is just really frustrating. So I'm with you. Actually, let me rephrase it. I'm with both of you. Megan, I lean towards your plus 1.5 with the Giants, but I'm taking Chris's advice. I think this is a complete and utter stay away until I can see what Sam Long's going to do this year for this Giants team.
I completely and utterly understand both of you, and I respect your opinions. I don't like the Angels tonight. Sorry. All right, let's go on to the second game. You got Rockies, Phillies, you got Freeland, you got Gibson. And I don't love taking a run line with a team at home, but I like the Phillies here. The Rockies are not nearly as good on the road as they are at home. I mean, look, Chris, you saw these Rockies at in Detroit, how long ago? Not too long ago.
They were the last series. Yeah.
They only scored 9 in 3 games that they were there. So I'm just not sold on the Rockies away. Obviously, they got the better, in Coors Field. But this is not Coors Field. This is back at the Phillies' house. And I'm expecting Gibson to hold it down. He held the Rockies to 3 runs and then nearly had 7 perfect innings against the A's.
Yeah.
I like the Phillies on the run line here. I mean, you can't – the money line is just way too pricey for me. I understand that it's a little risky with them being at home, but – I like it on the money line.
Yeah, this is another one I'm having a tough time with. I'm with you though on the money line. Kyle Freeland has been pretty awful this season, and they just announced that they gave him an extension like 2 days ago, and he's got a 7.71 ERA. But he was better last time out against these Phillies. And I think what makes this matchup a little bit wonky is the fact that Freeland is a lefty and he pitches way better against lefties. And you look at that Phillies lineup with Didi and Schwarber and Bryce Harper, they kind of load up on lefties there. But Kyle Gibson, pitching for the Phillies, has had a lot of success against this Rockies lineup. They're 10 for 52 against him, career with only 1 base hit. So I would not only take the Phillies money line here, I would actually take the under in this game as well. I think Freeland's going to be better. And I like Kyle Gibson against that lineup. I know the Rockies offensively have been really darn good so far this season, but you see the way Gibson's pitched against them throughout his career. And tonight, I think that I like your pick with the Phillies money line as well, but I would also take them to hit the under as well.
All right, Kelly, what are your thoughts here? Because I know with you being, plus EV, sharp lady that you are, the run line at home is probably not appealing to you. What are your thoughts?
It's scary how appealing it is, Megan, because the Phillies haven't been that good. Let's just be honest.
No.
It almost looks too easy. I'm going, oh, yeah, Phillies run line. It's almost like I dare you to lay the 1.5, and that's what scares me. I will say this. The Phillies, even though they have started off kind of had a rocky start to the season, last year against Freeland, they absolutely hammered his ass. They scored 4 runs right out of the gate in the first 5 innings. And I know that Chris just said that if Freeland is playing better, great. The Rockies bullpen. Come on. You want me to back this Rockies team with that bullpen? I grew up being fans of Denver teams because my brother-in-law, right? I got to go to the inaugural year. I love the Rockies. Obviously, my favorite color is purple, so they fit right in when I'm like 8 years old. It was
beautiful park. Absolutely gorgeous park. Finally made it.
Since they won the World Series, I don't know if they've had a good bullpen in the last freaking 20 years. I swear, every single season I'm going, what is up with this Rockies bullpen? And this year is no different. I'm just eerily concerned with how much I like this Phillies run line. To me, it is like ding, 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 ding. Like all of the warning signs are going off. I shouldn't like it this much. So
I will say too, 5 of the last 6 wins have been by 2 or more runs. So I will say that if that will make your juices flow a little bit to make you want to go bet that run line, there you go. Maybe
they're the one game they won by fewer than what do you say, 2 runs or 3 runs?
Yeah, 2 runs.
Yeah, the one game they won, they were up 3-0 with 2 outs in the 9th, and Austin Meadows hit a 2 RBI triple. So I mean, they've weirdly. I'm with you. Like they're the team this April that everyone's going to look at and be like, why are they good? And I think they'll fall apart in the summer. The Royals last year were the same way. They were in first place all the way through April because you look at their roster and especially their pitching. There's a lot of guys that are afterthoughts. Like Chad Kuhl is pitching out of his mind right now. He's like 3-0 with a sub-1 ERA at this point. I think they fall off, but I think they're going to be like the April darlings at this point, which makes them kind of difficult to navigate through when you're talking about gambling. But they got some hitters as well.
Yeah, so those are my 2 straight plays. I have Phillies run line, and I have the Giants plus the 1.5. So 2 opposite directions there. I also have a parlay today, which is my Making Money Monday parlay. It is the Mets, Dodgers, and Guardians all to win. You have Scherzer, Buehler, and Bieber, who you're backing. Look, it's a lot of chalk, Kelly, and I know you're probably shaking your head like you weasel.
This is what this is swear to you, Megan. This is where my strengths don't come in. I know a lot of really sharp people backing the Guardians here with Bieber on the mound. So when you said that, I'm like, oh God, what am I missing? And they're a dog. I feel like it is like trap central, but sometimes you think wrong, you think long. So I have to hear your analysis on this because I'm going, what am I missing here?
So you have Ohtani and Trout, who have Ohtani's, I think, seen him 5 times, or maybe Trout's seen him 5 times. He's only had 1 hit off of Bieber. Same with, I think might be 2 for Ohtani. I'm not quite sure. I need to go double check my numbers there. I just don't trust this Angels team right now. I don't trust them at all. And the Guardians, I feel like every time that I have, I don't want to say fade them again, but anytime that I've bet against them, it is utterly blown up in my face. For whatever reason, for the first 2 months of baseball, I just haven't believed in them. But a team that I believe in even less than the Guardians right now is the Angels. I just don't think they have very much to offer. And obviously with Dodgers and Mets, you have 2 absolute bulldogs within Buehler and Scherzer. And the bats have been just mashing for both of those teams as well. So, I mean, we're getting some pretty good value on it. I think it was like $378. I need to go double check what I put out. But I don't trust the Angels. And I think that is my bottom line there. Chris, are you with me? Do you not like the Angels either?
Oh, I'm with you. Yeah, completely. The Angels drive me
completely
drive me nuts more so than any other organization in sports. What's that?
The parlay is plus 373. I saw an 8 at the end for some reason. My dyslexia cut back in half.
No, you're good. No, I'm with you completely because, well, for one, and they annoy me so much because they find a way to be competitive every year. Cleveland, I think, again, this season, they're going to do what Cleveland does, which is that lineup. There's no outside of J-Ram. There's nobody in that lineup who scares me at all. And yet they're going to be competitive all season because all they do is develop starting pitching. Every year, the amount, there is no organization in baseball that develops starters the way they do. And now they got Bieber on the mound, who I know had a few injury issues last year after coming off of his Cy Young season. But beyond that, every time I think maybe the Angels are turning a corner because they should be stable. They just lost 2 out of 3 to the Orioles. And the only game they won was a 1-run game. There's no organization, maybe in sports, that has wasted more generational talent over the last decade than the Angels have. Like with Ohtani and Trout, and Rendon's no slouch. He was incredible with the Nats. And you got Lorenzen on the mound, who had been a reliever up until, this season for a while. So this is if we're talking like money line and even spread, in my opinion, one of the safer bets of the day. I'm going Cleveland all the way here. Yeah.
So what do you think about
Megan.
No, I just wanted to have his opinion on the other two along in the parlay, just to have a full thought there. I
want to go back to the Guardian Zone. This is I want to full circle because I want to go piggyback off what Chris just said. My biggest concern when I look at anything, I'm looking at the market, right? I've got my odds screen open. I can see where every sports book in the country is at. Every single one has the Guardians as an underdog. And here we are with Shane Bieber as a ace, right? Would you say he's a top 10? Would you say he's top 10 in the majors? Maybe top 15?
Bieber, when he's at his best, he's probably top 5, but considering the injuries, he's at least top 10, top 15.
Yeah. Okay, so I was thinking top 10. That is what concerns me here. I'm going, holy cow. I think they may close a favorite, but as of right now, I'm looking at it and I'm going, they're not giving out free money. What are we missing here? That was all. I just wanted to piggyback off what you said. Megan, other 2 games.
Yeah, no, I just I do feel like it's a little trappy, but everything that I just looked at today, like all of the data, everything that I saw just said, Megan, you have to go with the Guardians. You cannot just not play them again. Because, I was thinking Astros in this slot. I was thinking Coors Field was fantastic, Billy Green. It was beautiful. There was not a lot of other, because there's only 7 games, but there were other favorites that I could have put in there or, that I liked instead of the Guardians. But the number said that was the play. So that's what I was going at. But the other 2 are Mets and Dodgers. Chris, What do you think of the parlay with its plus 373? So obviously, if you're not wanting to pay a bunch of juice and you do like the 3 favorites, do you think this is a good parlay?
You had Mets first 5 money line, right? Was that?
It was going to be first 5 money line, but now it's full game money line because parlay. I would have pushed I would have lost if we would have pushed. So
I like that quite a bit. I love Max Scherzer so much. He's just the greatest. I love the fact that we live in this age where 25-year-olds can't go more than 4 innings, and Scherzer's 67 and he's pumping. He was throwing 100.
67?
I don't know. He's been around a long time.
I would say he's almost 40.
But he was throwing 100 pitches in spring training. He's just the absolute best bulldog maybe of this generation, and he's been great against the Cardinals in his career. If you include postseason, 1.74 ERA at Busch Stadium. I'm including game. Somebody in the chat, correct me. What'd you say?
37. He's 37.
37.
I was going to say the guy's won the Cy Young 3 freaking times.
So good. No, he's the man, and so he's
got to be almost 40.
Yeah, 37.
Yeah, and they got him for 3 years. And it's he's not showing signs of slowing down. Verlander's the same way, where it's I think he might just end up pitching into his 40s. But even beyond that, I like it for the parlay. Even beyond that, I would this is another one where I take the under, because on the other end, Miles Mikolas has actually been really good for St. Louis.
Yeah,
in his 3 starts. Coming out, he's had some injury problems over the last several years, but he's put up good against the Mets as well.
7.5, I think, maybe 7.
Yeah, with these 2 guys on the mound, I would probably take that. Scherzer's looked great his last time out.
6.5. What do you think of 6.5, Chris? Full game, 6.5. That could blow up within 3 innings.
You see, Mets bullpen scares me there because I thought it was 7.5 too earlier.
I think it was at 7.5, and maybe I got to go look at the line, but I feel like I saw that bounced from 7.5 to 7, and now it's down to 6.5.
Yeah,
that makes it tougher. When I wrote down my notes, it was 7.5. So I'm like, oh no, I'll take the under. But the way the Mets bullpen has been going, and I know I talked about this on the Bonanza stream, where like there's certain relievers who put up good numbers, but I never trust, and Edwin Diaz is like at the top of that list. So I could see this being a 2-0 game where he gives up 2 in the ninth, and then it leads to craziness in the extra innings. But I'd still probably just roll the dice and bet the under because I really like both these pitchers a lot. But it definitely fits for the parlay though.
Yeah, you guys are right. It did open 7 juiced at pretty much everywhere in the United States, and now we're seeing lots of 6.5 start to pop up, and that's scary because my buddy told me yesterday, he's like, oh, I like the under in the Yankees game, and I was driving and I missed it. I didn't realize it was starting in 5 minutes. Thanks for the heads up, but I'm actually glad that I did miss it because they just obliterated that 6.5, and I'm going, what sick human being wants to take an under 6.5? That really, the way that baseball is starting to turn up, they're trying to get more people to watch. It is terrifying, as a matter of fact. And so I will not be joining you guys on this game, but please proceed with caution, especially when laying like -125 under 6.5. Eek.
Yeah, and the other one, Megan, was Dodgers, right? Yeah, right. That's a safe one. I'm a pitching guy. Like I'm such a weirdo when a 1-0 baseball game is like.
I love it. That's why. So that's the reason why I liked the Giants, because I feel like Long, he's going to go out there, he's going to open, he's going to give me 3 really good shutout innings. At least that's what I'm hoping. And I think that that bullpen is really going to stretch for me. And again, I love unders. I don't know why. I mean, I know life is too short to bet the under. I get it. But in baseball, I absolutely love betting unders. I love a good pitching matchup.
Same here. And that's why, to me, Dodgers money line, I love Walker Buehler. He's one of the few young pitchers in baseball who, like, it seems like there's very little leash on him. He's capable of going 110, 120 pitches in, high numbers, 4-0, 2.24 career ERA and 11 starts against the Diamondbacks, who, as we brought up last week, have a lot of trouble scoring runs. So I'll be staying up for that and watching him. What's that?
What do you think of Merrill Kelly? If we're talking pitchers, thoughts on Kelly?
He's fine. I haven't seen enough of him because, honestly, I don't watch the Diamondbacks a lot. They're not appointment viewing for me because they've been they lost 20 straight home games last year. I mean, I have enough difficulty watching the Tigers, so I try to avoid what Arizona point. Look, he's fine. The numbers have been serviceable, but I think when you're talking about this game, especially when you're talking money line, I'm betting on Buehler. That's the other thing. I know that like wins and losses for pitchers don't matter. And you could argue they never did, but don't matter as much as they used to. But he's a winner. He wins a lot of games every single season.
The Dodgers are like 23-3 straight up, like something insane. Like they have like a crazy record.
He had an insane stretch last year where he was like 11-0 too. And I think he's started slow on multiple occasions as well. So I feel like he's due for a really good start tonight. So definitely Dodgers money line there.
Yeah, Merrill Kelly's never beaten the Dodgers in his career. Now 0-4, I guess you could say that's a small sample size, but I mean, this Diamondbacks pitching staff is not great. They don't strike anybody out.
Yeah.
And, we could.
The Dodgers are a team, and that Dodgers lineup mashes.
It's a high contact team as well. I know that's the problem. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. You're laying a heavy price for Walker Buehler, but I mean, maybe it's time for him to have a breakout game. I know it's in your making money parlay, so it doesn't hurt as bad. But to lay $2 is just, I can't do that.
All right, so yeah, it's not fun. That's why today was very hard, difficult slate. I had 7 games. There was a lot of big favorites. So I had to find the ones that I liked the best because there wasn't a whole lot of dogs that were necessarily catching my eye today. Before we move on to just a quick little NBA quip, was there any games today where a dog caught your eye, Chris?
Not particularly. I think we're in lockstep essentially with a lot of the picks that we made already. So nothing really stood out, especially when I look at the pitching matchups. That's always my go-to with this stuff. Right. Is like I'm going to favor the better pitcher in pretty much any instance, I guess. And I have the Blue Jays spread. But if there is a game in which I could see things going sideways, I've watched the Blue Jays a lot. I mean, that's like this year, they're like my B team. I think that lineup is so much fun. I think they rule. But
I love the Blue Jays this year as well.
I think they're awesome.
Red Sox. This year, like with George Springer, like I love that. Like it's just a great fun team to like even watch, and just feels like a fun team to be around, if that makes sense.
They remind me a lot of like the Astros, like before Springer left. I mean, obviously there's a Springer connection where I would like, and they had Verlander and Cole, where like I would just watch that team every night. But in this
I wasn't blacked out from it. So
yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
Well, thank you, MLB.
Yeah, we keep killing it, Robbie. But at the same time, Berrios, I've watched him. He hasn't looked completely right in his starts so far this season. You got Eovaldi on the mound. Doesn't have amazing numbers against the Blue Jays roster, but he's really good, and he's going to eat up innings. I think the Red Sox offense, I think they had a pretty good day a few days ago, but has looked more lethargic than they should. I think there's more talent in that starting lineup than has shown so far this season. So if there is a game where maybe you consider the underdog, I would lean towards that, simply because Berrios, as good as he is, as good as his stuff is, has shown the ability to be a little bit inconsistent in the past.
And let's see what that is worth right there. The money line. Do you have the Barstool Sportsbook pulled up, Kelly? Because mine's kind of running slow. I wanted to see what
I do have the Barstool Sportsbook pulled up, Megan. You know, the best part is somebody just rang my doorbell, so my dogs are barking. So I just muted myself. Current line is Blue Jays minus 136, Boston plus 108. If you like the run line, you can get plus 155 on the minus 1.5.
Yeah, but I think that Chris was leaning more towards the Red Sox because he was saying Berrios just didn't look right. So you can also get the Red Sox at plus money, which I was leaning Red Sox there, but something just I couldn't get myself to play that game.
The Blue Jays lineup is too scary. That's a problem. Yeah, they're just, regardless of how good the pitcher is on the other side, you know they're capable of putting up 6-7 runs against them. Yeah.
I was terrified. All right, those are my plays today. Chris gave you a little tidbit there on the Red Sox game. Kelly, real quick, there's obviously NBA playoffs going on right now, and that's more of your alley, more so than mine. So I would love. I mean, you did give me the Pels yesterday. Thank you for that. My account needed it desperately after the Pels game from before. So right now, you said you wanted to talk Boston Nets, and then you wanted to talk Jazz Mavs. So go ahead, let me hear it.
Yeah, I'll keep it real quick. Get out the brooms because the Celtics are sweeping tonight, Megan. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown have just been absolute monsters against this Nets team, playing lockdown defense. I'm loving what I've seen from them outside of game one where they screwed me over and allowed Kyrie to score just a few too many points. Kevin Durant's been almost non-existent in this series. Last game, just 16 points for him and Irving combined.
On that too, by the way. Boom. So we like the Celtics tonight, huh?
I do like the Celtics. You know me, Megan. Give me that better defense plus the points. I think they're headed to round 2 after tonight.
Chris, do you have any opinion on the Celtics tonight?
I watch NBA off and on. So I'm not going to give a ton of gambling advice. I think this year's Brooklyn Nets might be the most unlikable team in the history of basketball. So like I've been just openly kind of rooting against them. And I think I watched games 2 and 3, especially game 3. They looked like a team on the verge of quitting. So I feel like we're getting to that point with this series where I feel like once you go 3-0, it's a pretty good bet it's going to end 4-0. And Celtics are good, man. Tatum and Brown in that as wings, that's a special duo right there. So that's the only NBA advice I'm going to get, and it's not really much advice, but yeah, I think you're probably right with that, Kelly.
Well, I'm telling you, Kelly, I just went and threw some money on the Celtics. Now, tell me what to do with my cold, hard cash for the Jazz and Mavs.
Look, I love Luka Doncic. That's no surprise. And since he's been back in this lineup, it's been a difference maker for this Mavs team. Now, while he didn't play full minutes the other night, he still had 30 points, 10 rebounds. I really do think we're going to see a full-fledged Luka Doncic tonight if he's actually needed. And that's because this Jazz team, who was so electric in the regular season, even last season was so fun to watch in the regular season, all of a sudden, it's like these teams are able to play this lockdown defense once we get into the playoffs. And the Jazz just aren't used to it. I have not been impressed with the Jazz. I don't think that they have an answer offensively. They're not getting any boards. They're losing time of possession. I just don't love this Jazz team in this situation. Mavs at home. I also lean towards the under with that defense, under 213. If you don't want to bet the Mavs, either against the spread tonight at the Barstool Sportsbook, it is 3 or minus 150 on the money line. You can still bet the Jazz to win the series minus 135. That's a little less painful, but I will be tweeting out both of those. So if you guys saw it on Money Shots, here we are. Dominic says, Scott Foster scares me. Yes, he does, but usually not in situations like this. But yes, that man can strike fear into the home of a couple of fan bases for sure.
All right, so we like the Mavs and the under, correct? Is that what that was?
Yeah, I do like the Mavs. Now, traditionally, Megan, don't like playing two things on one game. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely.
I do lean towards the Mavs a little bit more, but in regards to the total, I do lean towards the under here. We've seen some money come in the under, but we'll see how that plays out. And if I actually get to the window again, I feel like when you're cheering for too many things and outcomes within a game can get a little frustrating. So I think that the Mavs get the win tonight, but I do lean towards the under for those that were asking in the comments.
All right. I feel like if the Pelicans win it all, we should be able to get the name the Jazz back.
If the Pelicans win it all, I don't think the Pels are going to win it all. The good news is for you is that the Suns, man, they are banged up. And without knowing how long D-Book's going to be out, it's not good news for them. You know who's kind of come out of nowhere? And I should have realized, of course, they were going to. Golden State really been turning it on this last maybe month and a half since All-Star break. Some buddies of mine that do a lot of power rating stuff now have Golden State with the injuries to the Suns as the number 1 seeded team as far as power rankings go. So unfortunately, I don't feel like the Pels are really going to be able to get it done for you, Megan. But hey, you just never know.
You never know. And it's also, I just wanted to be named Jazz again. I just really like that name.
Yeah, I mean, Utah, it's kind of like the Lakers, right? Like,
yeah.
Where are the Lakes at? I'd love to know. The Kansas City Kings back in the day, now they're the Sacramento Kings. There's certain things just never really make that much sense.
No, I agree.
There's a reason why the Titans changed their name. They couldn't be the Tennessee Oilers. It just wouldn't have worked.
All right, guys. So that's our takes today on some MLB, some NBA. You can always go ahead and replay this show over on YouTube if you missed anything. You can get Chris's breakdown, my breakdown, Kelly's breakdown. Kelly will tweet out her picks. My picks are already out. And Chris, he's just the best guy ever. So make sure you're going and liking. And don't get embarrassed, Chris. I can see you're getting red. Don't get embarrassed.
He's just still trying to make eye contact with you to keep everyone in the comments happy.
Thank you, Megan.
Yes, man. Come on. We love you here. And we can't thank you enough for joining us on Mondays and giving us your breakdown. We really appreciate it. We'll see you next Monday, and hopefully you'll be watching us Wednesday when most likely Stephen Che will be joining us. See or no? Is Stephen joining us on Wednesday?
Oh, yeah, he is. Sorry. I thought you were just speaking freely. Yes, Stephen's going to be joining us every Wednesday. Chris is going to be joining us every Monday. And please, guys, if you're in the comments, smash that like button so our producer Jack loves us. Click it a few times.
Do all that, all the good stuff. We'll see you guys on Wednesday. Let's go Mavs. Let's go. Who did we put the first money on? Celtics. Yeah, let's go Celtics. Yeah. Let's go Mavs. And hopefully you'll go ahead and get in that parlay today, which if it doesn't hit and you have legs that do hit, those will get you $10 back in bonus cash. So we'll see you guys on Wednesday.